Okay, I have two sidebars I want to go into about this. The first is Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn is based off of Batman the Animated Series, so she technically was not based off a comic book, but the cartoon was based off a comic book. She is a gray area, and I was like, do I want to include her? And I ultimately decided not to because she's not a superhero.
No, you're right. And if you see Harley Quinn on a list, you're gonna be like, I get it, but does that make sense?
It's not quite. Yeah. And then the second one is, I did not include this character, but we should talk about whether she should be included. Is Ripley from Aliens? Ripley is a superhero.
So you know what? I think we should. I think we could, because I have a couple inclusions I want to add that might not be, but they are powerful kind of immortal beings with superhero powers.
Okay.
So
yeah. I mean, superheroes is a very difficult term to like parse, because that's why I was talking about earlier. Or like, if you want to do a definition of them, again, they have to have a secret identity, they have to have a moral code, they have to have some extraordinary power. But if you take that far enough back, like you get to the pulps, and from the pulps you get to like biblical stories and et cetera, et cetera. So like, I don't know, we could do Samson.
yeah, okay. So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Can I do Zohan from You Do Not Mess with the Zohan?
So he has a secret identity.
Yep. He can swim faster than jet skis.
Okay.
He can catch bullets. He can put piranha. He feels no pain. He puts piranhas in his pants, and he doesn't feel anything. He can pretzel people up. He can do push-ups like while floating. I mean, he is fast, strong, dodging bullets. He's essentially like, he is Captain America basically, but Zohan.
Does he have a costume?
He has a gimmick though, right? So he has
Yeah.
So he has his gimmick that everyone knows him as. So I wouldn't say he has a costume. Does that not make him a superhero?
I feel like you have to have some type of easily recognizable costume.
Okay.
And it sounds like he does have that because he's a hairdresser.
Yeah. I mean, Scrappy Coco.
Okay.
No.
I'm going to say yes. I'm going to go with it. I have a very wide interpretation of this.
So if you said no to that, I was going to say I want Ernest P. Worrell, because he defies curses, he flies sleighs, he gets electrified, he survives the electric chair, he battles trolls, he can pick up 100+ troll, which we talked about in our Ernest Scared Stupid episode, easily. So he's inhumanly strong. And he has a uniform. But since you allowed Zohan, I'm keeping Zohan.
Okay. I mean, for you and I would also do Ernest. I do feel like we're trolling our audience a little bit, but you know what? Whatever.
That's the way we work, man. But I got more that are normal. So
okay.
I just had to go off with that. But see, this is good, though, because this kicks us off to what we're planning for this. We're getting everybody ready for it.
Okay. You know what? I think I went first last time, so why don't you go first?
Oh, Zohan.
Zohan. Okay, awesome. I'm going to pick Ripley. There's no doubt about that in my mind.
I mean, if you took clone Ripley, then she's really powerful. She's great at basketball, super strong, can wrestle with things. So yeah, I mean, that's perfect. Our suit.
Yeah. I mean, I'm taking specifically Aliens Ripley,
who has
the jumpsuit, who has those fancy boots, who has a super gun, who puts on an exoskeleton. Like, she's a superhero.
Perfect. I love it. So Ripley's in there. This one's weird for me, but I'm going to take Hannah from my super ex-girlfriend, and that's Anna Faris.
Is that Anna Faris or is that Uma Thurman?
No, so Uma is Anna. Oh man, we could do a really bad bit. No, that Anna, right? Anna is Hannah. I'm sorry. Hannah is Hannah Lewis, Anna Faris, who becomes powerful at the end and then teams up with Jenny to fight crime.
Huh. I haven't seen that, but it's on all the lists of superhero movies that aren't based off of comics.
Here's the thing. We need Anna Faris as a superhero in our movie.
Okay.
Because it's Anna Faris, and she's funny. And, I don't know, she plays a character named Hannah, and she battles Uma Thurman in this, fighting over Luke Wilson, and they throw sharks into apartments. Very interesting. All right, so that's mine.
I'm gonna look this one up, just to make sure I got this right. My next one's gonna be Meteor Man, if it's not based off a comic book. I pulled this one from my brain, but I do not actually know if there's a comic book associated with it.
I looked that up too, and I didn't see that there was either.
It doesn't appear so. So I want to take Meteor Man. I remember watching this movie in the theater and having a really, really good time with it. I thought it was very funny. Again, I was very young, but it has very warm memories. So I'm going to take that one.
Gotta go with Meteor Man. I had that on my list. So, all right, since you did that, I'm going to go weird. I'm going to take a super brutal movie. I'm going to go to James Gunn's Super, and I'm going to take Frank, played by Rainn Wilson, because the murders that he inflicts on people with wrenches and various blunt force instruments are very, very bloody and very, very dark. So
I haven't seen that one either. It's like the number 1 or 2 on all of these lists.
It's mean. So I started to watch it one time and I turned it off. I just wasn't in the mindset for it, of just the meanness of it and how insane it is. So I turned it off. But then I revisited it later in a different state of mind. And it's brutal. It's just a gnarly, 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 gnarly movie. And, we need a guy with a wrench bludgeoning people's skulls to death in our team.
Okay. My next one is the dude from Unbreakable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't have a great costume, but he has a costume.
He has a rain suit.
Yeah, and a baseball hat.
Yeah, rain suit and a baseball hat. And I mean, listen... Unbreakable is my favorite. David Dunn is that's my favorite superhero movie ever made.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and I'm not being a hipster. I'm not being controversial. I love the relationship between him and Elijah Price, aka Mr. Glass, because here's this guy whose bones shatter easily. So in his head, he's just thinking, well, there might be someone opposite of me. So he goes and commits these terrorist attacks to see if there's someone like him out there, so he could have like a superhero and a super villain. And just watching David Dunn with his bench pressing, his son goes to shoot him, and just watching the scene where he attacks the guy in the orange jumpsuit at the house where there's that dead woman chained to a radiator and he's just spitting water on her, or beer on her, and one of the most brutal things I've ever seen in a PG-13 movie. I think it's full of life, it's full of wonder, it's emotional, it's visually interesting, it's unique, it's sensitive, and it features an amazing performance, a very restrained performance from Bruce Willis. It also features Robin Wright. Then you have Sam Jackson in just a beautiful supervillain role surrounded by comic books before that, it was even a thing. This was made in 2000. You have to understand, before all this stuff blew up. So it's my favorite superhero movie ever made.
It's good. Is it peak M. Night Shyamalan?
I think
it's
so.
It's close. It's very close.
I think since it wasn't Sixth Sense, there's so much hype on him. It would have been impossible for him to make anything that really lived up to Sixth Sense hype, because that was a blockbuster. I was working in a theater when that came out, and it was just inhumanly big, The Sixth Sense. So, I don't know. I love it. I think it's one of my favorite movies ever made, actually, Unbreakable. So yeah.
I want to do a quick sidebar on M. Night Shyamalan. I will say that his movies are uneven, though I think I like more of them than I dislike them. But there's that joke, right? It's like, oh, here's the twist. That's from people not understanding film structure. Almost every movie you see has a twist in it. It's the third act reveal. You just don't understand what's happening. Mm-hmm. Literally.
It's an odd. And you know what I like about him too is Lady in the Water, The Happening. I'm not counting Another Earth or Airbender, but he's telling new stories and he's swinging big. And even if he misses, he's giving us something that is either confusing, confounding, perplexing, funny, but it's always something new and different. And that's what we want in movies. But then he became the butt of jokes. This guy was making interesting stuff, The Village, but then he was creating new things. And I don't know. And they were event movies and Signs. I don't know. It's just weird that people I don't know. Like, hey, this guy's creating interesting original films, and we're just gonna hate him. Stupid.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He's willing to take risks.
Mm-hmm.
He's really, yeah. Like I can say there are definitely movies I dislike from him. Like Airbender is one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
See, I don't count that as a Shyamalan film. Like, I take that as I don't know, what is it?
Studio
paycheck?
project.
Yeah.
Yeah. Paycheck, money.
I do want to say one of my early articles when they weren't good yet, when I hadn't hit my writing stride, and they're not even great now. They're getting better. Well, no, my articles are good. I need to get over myself. But it feels weird saying. But I wrote an article saying that Shyamalan should go back to low budget filmmaking because he has his control and he doesn't have to worry about a studio. And then months later, The Visit was announced with Blumhouse, and now he's blowing up. So
yeah,
I like to think that he read it. It's all my work, David.
Great. All
right,
okay,
so
what's your number? Yours.
Okay, all right. So I'm gonna go with Duncan MacLeod from the Highlander. Highlander.
You're gonna have to explain this one. Go ahead, explain this one to me.
Well, he's immortal. He doesn't have an outfit per se, but
he has a trench coat. Yeah,
the trench coat. Oh, you're right. And he's immortal. The only way you can kill him is to chop off his head. He gets power from other people. That's a super. You are a super. So I had to pick Duncan MacLeod.
I'll allow it.
Good.
I just wanted to see what you'd say. I was always going to allow that one. You kidding me?
I love it. All right.
Okay. So this one is more in line with superheroes, but it's more inspiration for superheroes from, I would say what is it called? The pulps. So Zorro.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Zorro is basically Batman before Batman.
Yeah.
So I would 100%. And then I'm also very interested in rewatching those movies with Antonio Banderas.
Oh man, Martin Campbell directed the first one. Mm-hmm. He's the one who did Casino Royale, Goldeneye. He knows what he's doing. It's nice. I love it. Zorro. So Banderas, Zorro.
Yep.
Beautiful. I'm gonna say Edna Mode from Incredibles.
Okay, that's a good one. Yeah, that's really good.
Everyone needs an outfitter, a Q. So I'm taking Edna Mode, darling. Hey, darling.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. So I'm going to run through a couple that I don't really have my fifth one solidified. I was thinking one of the Power Rangers.
Ooh. Yeah, the White Ranger?
Potentially. Yeah, he's in the second one, I believe. RoboCop.
Very good.
Yeah. It doesn't feel right. Like, I kind of want a traditional non-superhero. Potentially the Max Power from Arch Enemy, which just came out, which is an interesting movie. I don't know if it's good, but it's interesting.
Well, does it capture tone well and know what it is?
It does know what it is. It captures tone well, but it's a little muddled.
Got it.
But it has some really cool concepts. I think it needed another pass at the script, or like a little bit of script doctoring. So there's also Toxic Avenger. I'm not really into Trauma anymore, so that wouldn't really do it. And then there's Hancock. Hancock showed up on all the lists, but I have never seen it. I can't tell you if it's a good movie or not.
He shows a guy's head into his butt. Not Hancock's butt. I think he shows a guy's head into his own butt. But he's too powerful. But the whale scene's funny where he throws a whale and it hits a boat. That's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay. So who do you got to finish it up?
Yeah, this is really hard. I am going to go with RoboCop.
Ooh.
He's clearly a superhero without a comic book. That's not based on a comic book.
I mean, in Verhoeven, so he has an edge. I like it. I didn't add him, but I love the addition. I love him. So I got one more, right?
Yes.
All right. So is Rita Vertasky from Edge of Tomorrow a superhero, or was she only a superhero because she could relive the same day over and over?
She has a secret name. She has a recognizable suit, and she has a moral mission. And yeah, I do it. Do it. Oh, I love that movie, by the way.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. It's one of my favorite action movies, and I think she's one of the coolest characters of recent memory. So I'm doing Rita Vertasky. I'm leaving out Steve Strong from Sky High and Blank Man and Frozone from Incredibles, by the way. But I'm happy with Hannah, Frank, Duncan, Edna, and Rita. It's perfect.
We have a lot of 80s action heroes. Okay, so we're going to knock this down to 5.
Yeah, so you have Ripley, Meteor Man, Zorro, RoboCop, and...
David Dunn.
Yeah, David Dunn.
So
Okay.
my number one is Ripley. Like I have to have Ripley on our list. I don't. That's like the one I really want. Everyone else, I don't care.
Okay, so we got Ripley. We're gonna keep Ripley. Let's